Tony, would you have thought the first time you got this group together last summer that it could do what it has done in the regular season?
Well, I've said this before, you always hope, but you never know. I knew that we needed everybody. We used our theme of united pursuit. We're going to pursue it for all we're worth and be united in the hard stuff and in the successes. And guys certainly improved. We got lifts. It was really different guys at different times. And obviously the key guys had terrific years. But to be able to do it in this league over almost 3 months and 18 games, it's really a test of consistency. And they answered the bell, and it's to think about it for Jack and to think about that being the fourth one in 6 years. And I know how challenging it is in a league like this, but these guys, this group, they paid the price in the off season, and they worked hard, and again, their body of work speaks for itself.
You overcame a second half deficit the first time you played this team. You overcame a second half deficit against Syracuse, I believe against, forgot who else, there was another one in there. Do you draw off that? Do you think it makes you any more comfortable when you've done it before?
I mean, you have to be in those spots. Louisville, first, congrats to how hard and well they played. That was a physical game. That was, the possessions were hard. They made some tough contested shots. They attacked us. They made it hard for us, and those were possession games. So, to be in a tough physical game and to have to, Dre wasn't scoring like he typically does. To come out, I thought Ty was terrific, obviously. Kyle, what Jay did coming off the bench with those threes, and then Braxton making the big three and grabbing some rebounds. Again, we needed all those things. Mamadi was defensively good. So I think knowing that different guys at different times in those settings in a physical game, obviously we're playing for a conference regular season championship. To be in that spot and to get it is even better. But hopefully there's some confidence. Yeah, we've been in that place with them before.
Aaron and then David. Tony, over here, you mentioned Ty, and he had a season low points at Louisville. I don't know how much of that was physical, still coming back from injury, but Chris Mack said he looked like he was a lot quicker tonight.
Yeah.
Can you just describe his performance tonight? Maybe what was different from that other?
Well, he was so complete. Yeah, I think he's feeling better, he played. He's such a competitor, and I think the crowd gave him some extra juice, and I think he is getting healthier with his back, and we needed it all. That pull-up he hit and some of the passes. Because they're a physical defensive team as well. They mixed in a little bit of that zone, but those guys, they were ready to play. Coach Mack had them very, very ready. And again, we felt that down there, and you've seen the games they've had. That's our league. It really is. So to see what Ty did, and again, all across the board, 6 assists, 1 turnover, and our ball security was good, and we needed everything.
Tony, you mentioned the threes that Jay hit, and I know you went offense, defense with him and Mamadi late, but Jay also had blocked shots on consecutive possessions that Louisville had there in the second half. Is that where he is most improved, on the defensive side?
Yeah, I think he's continuing to improve. He certainly is, with his length to block a shot. We want him to be a rim protector and, just continue to work. Again, I always say for bigger guys, it takes a little longer, but, those guys are so dangerous on their ball screens, so they try to put like we did to them, and why Jay hit some of those threes. It was very similar. You run up the 5, and either your 5 can roll or separate, and you got a guard that's attacking you downhill. Mamadi did a good job. That's probably the next evolution for Jay, but he's getting better at that and just fighting for position. And, his lift with those threes and the things he did offensively were important.
Josh.
Tony, you've talked a lot about what Jack has meant to the program over the years. What was going through your head when you gave him a hug before he went up to climb the ladder?
I was just so proud of him. I remember he came on his unofficial visit. Or was it an official? I can't remember. There was a Taylor Swift concert. And it was just that time, so he came in, and we're not allowed to give him tickets or do anything. But he came in because they came in late. I think they were visiting, might have been St. Mary's or another school, or that was on the way out, whatever. But he came in, and the crowd was just crazy. You know, he walked in, and you know, when they're coming to our office, you could see it. And you know, and he's getting to cut down a net, and I don't know if it was quite as high-pitched screaming in the game today as the Taylor Swift, but I look at him and how many games he's been a part of, and the players and the tribute. I thought that was so special. I just am so proud because I said they didn't. I don't know if they put it on the board. Someone said, when you think of Jack, you know, word association, what do you think of? I said, I think of the book The Giving Tree. I don't know if any of you guys have ever read that. It might be over some of your guys' heads, but hopefully you can read it. A lot of us know. But I really do. When I think of Jack, I think of that book. He is a giver through and through, and it's unbelievable what he does off the court. Of course, on the court, how he plays, that speaks for itself. So all that stuff was flooding through my mind, and just was really thankful.
I was just wondering, obviously, sorry over here, Coach, you want to win every game, but is there some kind of mentality shift that has to happen for your team? Is there some kind of mentality shift that has to happen for the team as you exit the regular season and move into 2 single elimination tournaments?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's, you know, we talk about it all the time. It's 40-minute territory. That's what we say in the games. Possessions matter. And, you know, this is the test over consistency over, you know, 18 games. Now you're into situations where it's one and done. And a hot team or a matchup, you have to just be ready to go, and that's a different kind of challenge. So hopefully we're ready for it, and you know, you press on. You just step to the game, and you know, you learn from all the things, the successes and the hard lessons that we've learned, and be as ready as you can, and you can't say much more, really.
Tony, Jay gives you things on offense that Mohamed doesn't, and Mohamed gives you things on defense that Jay's not quite giving you yet. Can you ever get to the point where both of those guys are in the game at the same time?
Did you watch the Syracuse game or not? we had them in there both at the same time. No, I say that is, yeah, I think you can. I think at times it's just all about matchups. You know, you have to look at, you know, who can they guard, what's their other big like, their 4, their 5, and play. Certainly offensively they could play together. I believe that. And then defensively, I think it's more of a matchup in what the teams are doing. And against Syracuse, we went the whole second half. And ironically, against Louisville down there, we did it for stretches with those two on the floor at times.
Tony, obviously you guys have the big 3, what people refer to as the big 3. But in the last 5-6 games, almost every one of the other guys on the 8-man rotation has had a big moment or two, made a big shot, made a big defensive play. How critical is that as you go into the gauntlet that is the rest of whatever the season has for you?
Yeah, I think that is the key, you know, having different guys different times. That has to happen. And for us to be successful in the single elimination tournaments now. So, yep, you can't just say, because sometimes people key on it, and then again, like what we saw, and that's been, I think that's happened often at times when we've either been down or needed a boost. It's been, you know, name the guy in that 8-man rotation that we're playing. It's been any one of those 5 guys.
Tony, I believe 25 three-point attempts against Syracuse, 28 tonight. As you look at those, obviously you're hitting them at a pretty impressive clip, but do you like the shot selection? And going forward, what do you like about the balance as far as playing on the perimeter and playing inside?
Yeah, I think against Syracuse, you know, it was going. I think it was pretty good shot selection there. I think today, you know, there's a couple ill-advised quick threes, and against a team like that really makes you work to defend. Sometimes you got to work until you get the shot. And I thought a couple times, you know, Ty had a heck of a game, but he took that one bomb when I think we got up, I don't know what it was, in the first half, and he said, my bad. But I think there has to be a balance, but you also, if they're there, you have to take them. But again, if it's a quality shot, yes, maybe a few quick ones, but I thought we got some good ones as the game wore on.
Yeah, could you talk about Braxton? Hasn't always played a lot of minutes, but he hit the big 3. And just what he gave you today. Yeah,
I think, you know, that 3 in the corner and then went to the line and some offensive rebounds. And then his size and physicality, you know, they are physical guards that they have. And Kihei did a good job a couple times. They just put their shoulder down and got by us outside drives. And you look at, they're mature, a lot of grad transfers and physical. And I thought Braxton's physicality and rebounding on the defensive end helped. And then, you know, what he did with that shot. And he, you know, he took care of the ball out there. So I thought he was important.
When you took the mic after the game and thanked the crowd, you talked about the home court advantage at JPJ. some of the games have been so one-sided this year that you haven't really needed the crowd in the second half to carry you through, but it seemed like tonight,
Yep.
when you got down 7 in particular.
Yeah. Did Todd put you up to that question?
no.
You're not sitting there.
No,
Absolutely.
it seemed like it made a difference tonight.
It sure did. We needed that. You could feel it because that was a hard-fought game, and they were terrific. Like I said, I go back. We talked about the Taylor Swift concert. I go back to my first years when we couldn't really give away tickets, and now the waiting list for season tickets is, I don't know, it was around 4,000 last I checked for a wait list, and that's just unbelievable. And this crowd has become they've appreciated guys like Jack Salt. They've appreciated hard-fought defense. Unselfish basketball, and then the individual gifts and talents that these players have. So I think they're a smart crowd and they're educated, and we needed every ounce of it today. You could feel it. So a big assist to the crowd.